Alright, the Laboratory Brand Gate ride line is here, along with Encounter Majesty Lord with the ride line. So let's begin. But first, cards for the last few days, not including collabs. First off with a Brand Gate card being a double rare, Panta Real Dragon, grade 2, 10 power and skills. Act rear guard once per turn, costs Soul Blast 1, draw a card, choose a card from your hand, discard it. But if your order zone has a set order, this card also gets plus 5k until end of turn. I mean, it's just a cycle with a Soul Blast with some power, it's okay. Next, a Dragon Empire double rare, Perforate Burner Dragon, grade 2, 10 power and skills. Auto, when discarded from hand during your battle phase, you can put this to soul and then choose one of your units and it gets plus 5k power until end of turn. This is basically just OverDress Overlord support, because what other Dragon Empire deck does mid-battle discarding? And now to a Stokea double rare, Protagonist Raforis, grade 2, 90 power and skills. Auto, when placed on rear guard, cost counter blast 1, call 2 plant tokens to rear guard. I mean, you could choose to use the grade 1, which will call it for free, but it costs you 1 token. This one just costs you an extra counter blast, but it gets you 2. So you could run both, or just pair your preferences, really. And then Cater Sanctuary double rare, Knight of Guard Spear Arson, grade 2, 10 burn skills. Count, front row rear guard. All your rear guards with different names cannot be chosen by your opponent's card abilities. Pretty decent protection. And then the second skill, auto rear guard. When this card attacks, if you persona ride this turn, this card gets plus 5k power to the end of the turn. I mean, the protection effect is not too bad, but a little restrictive with the different names part. And then a Dark States double rare, Amazing Frost, grade 2, 10 power and skills. Auto rear guard. When placed, cost Soul Blast 1, draw a card, choose a card from your hand, and put it to soul. Then, if there are 8 or more different name cards in soul, this card gets us 5k power. If there were 10, 10k instead. I mean, it adds some extra consistency of choice soul charging because you get to choose what card to put to soul, and the Soul Blast card could always be a duplicate. So this isn't too bad for chaos, it just adds some consistency. And now to the Tuesday stream. We're gonna start off with the Eva ride line with the starter One Who Craves Knowledge Eva. And then we go to an afternoon nap regardless of place Eva, which is of course the grade 1 Wakey power with the skill of auto. When placed from riding on top of the grade 0 Eva, search your deck for 1 research card and add it to your hand. And also glitter, typical grade 1 that basically sets you up. And then the grade 2 literally has the same skill except that you just ride it on top of the grade 1. At least it's all about consistency here. In which the grade 3, which has 13k power, Fountain of Knowledge Eva. The skill is Act Vanguard. Once per turn, cost counter blast 1. Look at the top cards of your deck equal to the number of research cards in your order zone. Choose up to 1 card from among them and put it in your hand. The rest goes to the bottom of the deck in any order, and this card gets plus 5k power to the turn. Your grade 1 and grade 2 ready searches something, so that will give you 2. So top 2 is okay for any card searching for a +1, and that extra power does help. And in the second skill, Auto Vanguard. When this card attacks, cost counter blast 1, Soul Blast 1, search your deck or hand for 1 Obscurity and call it to rear guard. If you call it from deck, of course shuffle it, and also has the glitter ability. What's nice is that this card says when this card attacks, meaning that you could actually get a multi-attack off, which overall isn't too bad. It's a 4 attack deck by default, and your grade 1 and grade 2 ready gives you your consistency search for your choice draw for your first skill. So why not? And now to the research set order, Experiment Successful, which is a grade 2, and the skill is auto. When placed on the order zone, draw a card, choose a card from your hand, discard it. If your order zone has 3 or more research cards, cost Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and bind it. Like I said before, your grade 1, grade 2 ready searches for these, so you really just need to draw into the third one. Now my only problem right now is that this is the only research card we have, and this isn't that great. The only thing I could assume so far is that this deck is probably going to be like Orphis, where you want to set a certain number of set orders, and then that's the way to unlock your skills. But hopefully we do get more research cards. And then to the glitter card, which is the Brand Gate Cater Sanctuary, Knight of Darkness Obscurity, grade 3, 13 power and skills. Auto rear guard. When this card attacks, if your order zone has a set order, plus 5k. If there's 3, plus 10k instead. 23k beater, why not? It has glitter for Eva with the skill of auto. When placed on rear guard by card ability, your Eva already does that. If your order zone has 3 or more research cards, this card gets plus 1 crit. So once you have everything set up, it's a 23k beater with a crit. Not bad. And then third skill, Count Rear Guard Guardian. This card gets intercept and shield plus 10k. So this is basically your big beater for Eva. It's an okay beater, I'm not going to say it's the best, but once you have everything set up, it could be quite nasty because being 23k with a crit can be very nasty with a booster on top of that. And it's also nice that this could be a defensive card as well. So overall, it's not too bad. And now to Majesty Lord Encounter. Here's the starter for the ride line, Wingle Brave, which goes to Little Sage Marin, which is of course grade 1 with AK power, and the skill is auto. When rolled upon by grade 2 blaster, look at top 7 cards of your deck and then choose one grade 2 blaster from among them and add it to your hand. If you could not search for one, you call Wingleblade from Soul. This is very nice. It lets you be your consistency searcher, and also if you do fail, you at least still get a plus out of it. And then the second skill is count rearguard during turn, you get 3 more rear guards plus 2k. That is whatever, it's just a typical grade 1 that is for consistency searching. And then we got our grade 2, which is already Blaster Blade, so no need to go over it because that has already been gone over. So skip to the grade 3, which is of course Majesty Lord Blaster, which of course has the 13k power, and the skill is count Vanguard if your soul has both Blaster Blade and Darkened Soul, plus 2k and 1 crit, and it's continuous. Copy and paste of the original, of course, although being a 15k defensive can be very tough. And in the second skill, Auto Vanguard, when this card attacks a Vanguard, perform all the following. Put a Blaster Blade on your rearguard to your soul, and then choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. Choose a Blaster Dark from rearguard to your soul, and this card gets drive plus 1 to the end turn. Not bad overall. You get a retire and a drive check, and for the first skill, your ride deck exists, so you're guaranteed one of the blasters. It's just the second one you just need to draw into, and it's basically just typical Majesty Lord Blaster. Although the only problem I see with this is probably the lack of power it has on its own, because unlike the original or V, you basically don't really get any power off his putting to stuff to soul skill. But in that, being a 15k beater with 2 crits or a 15k wall is actually overall pretty good. And considering that it still has Blaster in its name, you could run the previous Shadow Paladin Cater Sanctuary support for this deck. Some of them at least. And there's always the support cards for Blaster, so why not? My only disappointment is that we don't get an Alfred. And then to one support card, Bravery to stand against, Will to pierce through. It's a grade 3 normal order and you play it by counterblasting 1. If your Vanguard is Blaster, you can search your deck for one grade 2 Blaster card and add it to your hand, and of course shuffle your deck. A consistency searcher for OverDress Majesty Lord, so obviously you will most likely run it just to add the extra consistency, although not as great as the V1. So that's it for these reveals. What do you guys think about the new Eva ride line along with the now completed Majesty Lord ride line? Eva is okay to me. So far nothing super special unless we get more research cards, but for Majesty Lord, it's a typical ride line. It's a copy and paste basically for Majesty Lord itself. I really wish that we did get Alfred as the first grade 3 ride because that was Aichi's main ace and Majesty Lord was basically his final boss. So it's kind of unfortunate that we didn't get Alfred, but I was expecting it considering that they literally just introduced Majesty Lord and Blaster Blade Encounter in this same set. But whatever. But in that's it for this, and see you all next time.